Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Devin, the OG, the original Grognard. In this episode of World at War 85 Storming the Gap Tactics and Techniques, we're going to be taking a look at what could probably be considered a very basic tactical premise, but some people sometimes need to be reminded of getting back to the basics. That is the concept of how do you advance on a position without getting shot up. This is a technique that Warsaw Pact needs to pay attention to more than anything else, as they tend to be on the assault more often than the NATO forces. In this situation, we have a battalion of Soviet BMP-1s, which everybody knows are soft and crunchy and tend to blow up really quick, trying to advance on a position of an American mechanized infantry company. In most games, some people may want to go with the idea of just hey-diddle-diddle straight up the middle in typical standard Soviet formation of just overwhelming the enemy with great numbers. However, as you all know, in World War 85, that technique and tactic probably isn't going to work due to the activation deck giving the NATO forces the opportunity to activate and conduct their operations twice as much as Soviets are able to get their operations off. So Pac forces need to be very careful about approaching their targets. How do they do that? Well, you're going to want to stay behind cover, really. That's the most basic idea there is. In this situation, you're probably going to want to push your battalion possibly around this hill, or at least keeping the hill between you and the enemy, or maybe even coming down around these hills down here. Why are you going to want to do this? There is the concept that you can fire on move, and if your battalion is moving straight up the middle, then you can just fire on the move at the defenders. However, the Soviets aren't very well known for being very good at firing on the move. They're going to get less dice, and thus they're probably going to inflict a lot less hits, and they're going to spend more time out in the open than the NATO forces. Again, with their 2 activations to usually every Soviet 1 activation, you're just going to get shot up a lot more. So what you need to do is kind of learn the LOS rules, understand how firing from a hill to firing to a lower terrain, and even from firing from a hill to a lower terrain that goes over blocking terrain, how that works. Remember that cultivate head hexes, you can only see 2 hexes. Say you're right here. 1, 2, the 3rd hex is blocked. Forests are blocking terrain. Villages are blocking terrain. So you're going to want to approach keeping yourself out of the line of sight of the opponent until the very last minute when you can set up your formation to come out and charge at very close range. Again, it's a very simple concept, but sometimes we need to get back to the basics and just be reminded that sometimes the simplest approach is usually the best.